Hey there, everyone. Welcome to From Stuck to Scaling. It's your $1 million journey. And I'm, of course, Sharon Fuller, your host, an entrepreneur and a business strategist, and your go-to for cutting through the noise and building a business that actually works for you. Today, we're going to get real about a question every business owner thinks they have answered, but they usually don't. And that is, what the heck are you building? It's really easy to get caught up in growth for the sake of business, but is your growth and your business actually leading you to a life you want? So in this episode, we're going to break down how to define the success on your terms, align your business with your personal values, and stop chasing goals that don't serve you. And remember, if you've got questions, send them my way. Even if we don't tackle them on the show, I'll make sure to get you the answers you need. And I'm really excited to announce my guest today. Today's guest is someone who actually makes accounting fun. It is actually possible. This is Matthew Fulton, who all of his friends know him as Spot. And he is the brains behind Parkway Business Solutions. He's also a total rock star when it comes to merging tech with accounting. And a little bragging rights here. He's an award-winning educator, innovator, and the guy who makes complicated workflows look easy. And he's also the founder of QuickBooks Community Live, where he built a whole network of thousands of accounting pros who actually help each other instead of gatekeeping the knowledge. So Matt, thank you. I've known you, I know
They
it's
all
been
work.
so long, and it's like one of those things where it's like, let me get used to it. Um, I call you Matt lovingly, right? Right? Spot. I'll get used to it. Thanks for joining me. I love chit-chatting with you, so I was kind of just looking forward to this.
I appreciate you bringing me on and such a kind introduction. I mean, you make me sound so professional and successful already. So thank you.
Get real with you. ChatGPT wrote that for me, so I'll thank her. I'll thank her.
Beautiful.
I
No,
sort of
kidding.
kid, but I also just think you're awesome.
Yeah.
Matt, you're just regardless of the fact that you're good at what you do, you're also just a good person and a fun person, which is hard to find in this industry, right?
Well, there's that good old saying, like, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. I think that's BS to some extent. You're still going to work, but at least you're going to love what you're doing while you're working. And our
Yeah.
community is a big, big part of that for me.
Oh,
It helps fuel me and feed me and keep me going.
right.
Yeah.
I love going to conferences. To me, it's like I'm terrible. I know it should be for the education and such. For me, it's the networking and the connections
100%. Yeah.
and everything I learned from people there, even just in like one-on-one conversations. The stuff that you learn is priceless. I mean, I can learn a lot of the things that people teach. And I shouldn't say this, you and I both educate, so I'm not,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But when you're in this field for a while and you're kind of teaching it, you kind of, I don't want to say you forget to be a student, but it's not that. It's that we're always like, we just went to AppyCamp, right? And that's a ton of accounting educators. So we were just sitting there for a week, just talking to other people that educate on things. And it's just,
It's
you
one of
just
the
get so
best
much from it.
conferences I've been to because it was like-minded individuals. We got to collaborate on things. But I do believe, like, when you're first getting started and you're trying to grow your business, if I had known how powerful social media could be sooner and actually engaging in your community,
Yeah.
asking other people within your industry questions, I would have done it way sooner. It has fundamentally changed my life and helped me build a business by going to conferences and getting the
Yeah.
ability to teach at them. So, but I do agree with you. At a certain point, it becomes about the networking. You can
Yep.
learn so much in a class, but if you know the people, you can call them anytime and pick their brain.
Yep. And you make friends. They become in the very beginning. Well, when did you start? I call it the conference circuit because I feel like we have a circuit of conferences we run every year. I just started in like 2021. So you know me, I come in on fire, come in as a blaze. I come in making noise. So everyone's like,
We know when you
been
got there,
around,
that's for sure. Yes.
but you've been around
So
much longer.
my first conference in the accounting industry, because my prior career, I was in car audio for 14 years and I got to go to different conferences there and speak there. But in accounting, it was actually in 2017, I went with a company called LedgerSync. We did like a 1 day trip to QuickBooks Connect and back.
I know Ledger Sync. We're implementing that right now, but
Yeah,
keep
great
going.
technology. 2018, A really good friend of mine, Linda Artisani, and I, we started to put together and we created QB Community Live, the Facebook group, and we decided we were going to just go to the conference and kind of crash it and try to live stream and record our experience. And we just showed up, pretend like we were somebody. And we went to QuickBooks Connect in San Jose, then went up to Toronto after that, which was amazing. 2019 was the first year I had a chance to actually speak at Intuit Connect or QuickBooks Connect, and just kind of evolved from there. And it's been a fun ride.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I guess I always say you got to fake it till you make it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that kind of leads us into our topic for today because there are so many very strong voices and so many smart people. And my audience for this is all professional services entrepreneurs, but of course, everybody finds I live in the accounting industry because that's where I am. But I find that as smart and knowledgeable as everybody is, and you're like, oh my gosh, they must be super successful. Their idea of success is not my idea of success, right? So
100%.
they're like, what they're doing, and I'm like, I'm doing this, and they're going, wow, that's amazing. I'm like, we're at different places, and I remember in the beginning I would think, oh, I'm not as successful as they are. I was like, oh, well, we're in different places. They're doing all of this, but they have 20 employees. They're working a ton of, they're doing all these different things. So their idea of success is not mine. So I would love to know right off the bat, what is your idea of success?
I like the way you were talking about that because I think your definition of success, it evolves with you as you grow in your practice and your experience in growing a company. Before, it was all about growing this firm, making it larger, getting a bigger team, having a global team, all this different stuff. And now that's changed. It's after taking a bit of a hiatus out and really restructuring the stuff I want to do. To me, success now is taking time to actually live life and go and do things and working as much as I want to work and doing the type of stuff I want to do. I want to be able to spend more time with friends and family than just sitting and working all the time, 60 hours a week. I don't like to do that anymore.
Either. I want to work as least amount as possible. And if I'm working, I don't want it to feel like work. I want it to
Oh,
feel
totally.
fun.
I love it when somebody hits me up with a brain twister. Like that's the whole thing with the workflows. If you've got this weird, wonky challenge and you're trying to figure out how to get this to there or how to fix this or that, you get my attention on it. I'm going to just jump into that rabbit hole and go for it and try to figure out a solution. That's my passion. That's the fun stuff.
So I take it you and I could talk zaps for hours then.
Yeah. Matter of fact, next QB Power Hour, we're going to be talking about using Zapier. So we should talk about this. And
I love it.
It's even that technology evolves over time, right? So you have to shift. I think I've been really fortunate that I've always been on the forefront of technology and always playing with new pieces here and there. So it's allowed me to stay in front of what businesses are able to do, and it keeps feeding my company new opportunities to grow.
Well, do you write? I know I get into zaps. Some people think I'm nuts. I have like 200 plus zaps running. Anything that requires me to put data from one thing to the other, because like I said, I don't want to work. Success for me is not working. And when I do work, only doing what I'm excited about, so it doesn't feel like work. Not the things that I'm like, oh, I have to push that off. If I have to push it off, I'm like, how can I either find somebody that loves to do it and they can do it, or a piece of technology that makes me never have to do it again. So Zapier is like, in fact, I was just writing zaps this morning. I like to zap things that come in from my email. If I have like consistent things that come in to like, and the subject's always the same or whatever, or even if there's pieces of it, and I know it's a deliverable I'm going to have to create, I have a zap that goes from my email to my project management tool, and it goes into my what I need and when I need it by, and it's just completely automated. And then I auto archive the email because I don't need it. Get out of my way. You're already in my project management tool. I can see you there. So I wake up, I know exactly, and I'm Matt, I'm ADHD, right? We all know this. And the tool I use just completely schedules everything. So I don't want to spend time cleaning stuff out. That's my level of success, right?
Well, sometimes you have to make mistakes to learn more. So one example of a zap that I did, which really didn't work out as well. A long time ago, I started to zap that every time somebody would follow me on Twitter X, I would send up a picture to be like, thanks for the ad type thing. But then I never went on Twitter or X at all. So the only thing you'd see on my feed was just this same picture over and over and over and over and over again.
It's like a
So
spam bot.
exactly. So sometimes you need to think a little bit further into the future when you're
Yeah,
trying to create these custom
how it
integration
scales.
apps. Yeah.
Like I have some auto responses for things like if somebody messaged me on Facebook or something and I send an email comes into me and then I have an auto email that says, hey, here's my link, book on my calendar. But the calendar link I had was so old that it doesn't work. And people are like, you can't even link it, Sharon. I'm like, oops, that makes me look, come to me for process and efficiency and solutions. Never mind, right? And then my team, and then I promise we'll move off from Zaps. I love that you're in tech because I love tech. I love it. But my team gives me crap because I have a Zap set up. So we use a calendar, of course, but we have a team calendar. So whenever anybody has PTO or birthday or their anniversaries coming up, I have a Zap setup that says, hey, you see this upcoming 7 days beforehand, create a Slack notice that says, hey, team, tomorrow it's this, whatever. Well, however I had it set it up, it was like, it was going in wrong. So I can't remember, we'd be like, it was doing it like, it was not even like a set amount of time. It was totally random. It was shooting in random. I don't know what I wrote, but it'd be like Wednesday and say, guess what? Tomorrow is 4th of July. And everyone's like, what? Like, enjoy your day off. And then, so they always laugh whenever that comes through because it doesn't come through right. I had to adjust them, but something about like the today feature or something, I need to figure it out. But they, every time it comes through, they're like, Sharon. I'm like, well, at least you guys know there's a holiday coming at some point soon, right? It's coming. Yes, it's February, July. You will have 4th of July off. It is reminding you.
Exactly. And if we don't test these things ourselves and play around with them, we can't effectively and efficiently do it for others because I don't want to fix mess ups in somebody else's stuff. It's why, like,
Yeah,
we're doing integrations, we do different things, we have playgrounds. So
yeah,
it's part of the nature when you're hired by us. It's look, I'm going to push buttons and try things out. It's better than trying to implement a new software for the entire team every 2 months. You
yeah,
know,
absolutely. That's a
instead I'll just
hard
make
thing.
easy with it.
Matt, how's my phone ringing? Didn't I turn on Do Not Disturb? Um, that's how things go, right?
Yep,
Well, I like to know, and I struggle with this sometimes. And like I said, everybody's success is different, and one man's trash, another man's treasure. But have you ever felt guilty for wanting more, or maybe wanting even less, right, than other people?
absolutely. So, I should give just a quick bit of context that drives around a lot of this conversation that prior to the pandemic, I was growing my business with a business partner and things were going powerful. And truly, the pandemic helped us a lot because we were able to help a lot of other people. Ended up ending that business partnership and taking some time off after just trying to do too much all at one time. The reason I'm sharing that is back before, I felt like I always had to take on every single opportunity to keep myself relevant and not lose that momentum. And that just led to burnout. It was just ridiculous. It was, you thought if you missed something by not taking it, it'd be worse, but when you burn out, you end up missing a lot more. So
Yep.
now that I've come back and I've refocused, and I like to call it life work harmony because I don't think work life balance is real. Life first, then work. It took some time for me to commit to myself to not overbook my calendar. Like
Yeah.
I don't book anything before 10 a.m. ever on purpose. And I only allow a certain amount of appointments. And a lot of people initially kind of expected the old Matthew to come back and be just boom, 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 boom. And I'm not going to do that again. So sometimes I feel bad because I say no more, but there really is power in no. It's actually helped a lot.
I agree with you. I have a story. I might have a story a little bit like that, but 2 years ago, was it 20? When did Don, Sean, and I do BFD that one year? I think it was 23, right? End of 23, end of
Probably.
22. I think end of 22. Anyhow, but it was at QuickBooks Connect, and I burn myself out every year. So I take off usually Thanksgiving until January 7th every year because I love what I
Love it.
do, but I burn myself out. And during the holidays, I just want to sit on my couch and do puzzles. But that year, we were going into like December, and I had a mental breakdown, like complete breakdown. And when I came back, I was like, that's it. I'm taking Slack off my phone. I'm taking my email off my phone.
Oh yeah.
I need my time back. And yeah, right now, you can't, I only work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I'm not getting on a call before 10 unless like you're bribing me because I don't want to for
Yeah.
my own
Yeah.
peace and life. And that is important to me, right? Because I
Yep.
hate setting an
Yep.
alarm, Matt. I hate it. I don't want to set an alarm.
And I want to be transparent about something. Like, I'm sure you'd agree. I'm not saying that I'm sitting here able to work half time and making a bazillion trillion dollars. No, I've made the decision in my life to figure out what I want to make as an affordable income to live the quality life I want. It's no longer about having the multi-million dollar firm for me. I prefer to niche down, be more specialized, make a good living, and truly make an impact for businesses that I'm helping and choose to help. That's more important now.
My dog is being a turd. I agree with that. And it's about balance, right? And when you build something, you can build with just you and what you can handle, or you can build and bring other people in. But then that adds a whole other factor to it. Now it's not just you doing what you do. You have to manage what these other people are doing. And they could be amazing, but if they win the lottery, you got to cover for them, which means now you're working again until you find another one of them, which, as we know in the accounting industry, is almost impossible.
I remember, again, looking back to when I had a business partner, I loved working together because we would collaborate and brainstorm on things. But there were absolutely times, like if we were trying to change our own workflow or the software we're using, it became difficult because it's two different opinions. And sometimes things wouldn't get done, wouldn't get completed because we couldn't decide. So when I started to redo it myself, I recognized now is the time to set up the systems and the procedures the way I think I want it before I bring other people on. So I don't have to
Yeah.
have those conversations again.
Yeah.
There's always room for evolving, but I can get the core base done.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I always look like I want to do so much and make such an impact. And then I'm like, oh, but that's so much work. Do I want to do that? I'd rather do a lot of little things that I love, have a lot of smaller businesses doing a lot of different things and finding people that love it too, or finding ways to automate it, than I do want some huge thing that's just going to consume my life. Right? Because
Yeah.
like for example, I feel really bad when I go to conferences and I see people that are like, I can't go to that tonight because I need to go get my work. I have to work on client stuff, and I'm like, that makes me. But then again, that's not my level of success. That's their level. And they could have last year been an employee at a big four working 90 hours a week, and so only having to work an hour at a conference is nothing. And that's where it's good to remember that we all have a different viewpoint, right? You have to know what it is for you and for me. So, um, how do you, so you do a lot of fun things. I watch all your, and I always look whenever you go to conferences, like you and Linda usually take some trips before, after, and you drive around, you post a lot of pictures. So I know you do a lot of fun things. You live in a really great part of the US. So how do you personally balance your business goals with your personal priorities? Because we know your dog is your number one priority, just like mine
Yep.
is right now, barking at the door to get out. I'm gonna
You
let him
can't even
out
hear
while
her.
you start talking because he's yelling at me. There you go. There you go.
See, this is the nice
Jeez.
thing with technology, everybody, is we don't actually hear the noises that she's hearing, but I've
Oh, you
definitely
can't hear?
understood. We don't hear any of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
But
That
earlier I was doing a
chihuahua
live
had
and I
it
had a
too.
chainsaw go on and I was like thinking everybody was going to hear it all, right? The fun of doing, like, I love doing video, but there's the nuanced stuff when your brain's like focused towards perfectionism that can be difficult. So,
I
um,
know.
but back to your question, like, how do I try to balance it? this is something I'm always working on and trying to evolve and do a better job with. But the thing I really did last year was, like you were saying, is I took vacation time entwined into the conferences. So I busted my butt really hard to make sure I got everything done before I had to go. If I'm going to spend the time and money to go to a conference, I want to be present when I'm there, which means I'm telling the clients I have I'm not going to be available. There's no such thing as an accounting emergency, except for payroll, basically, is what I always say. So they're not going to be able to get a hold of me right away. I give them the extra attention ahead of time because I want to be there. I want to be present, whether it's for like just connecting with people or doing whatever, and then sprinkling in the vacation stuff, doing other fun stuff, because guess what? That's how we get to write some of it off too. So like,
Yeah.
you know,
Sorry, IRS. This drive home across the entire United States that took a month was I had to. I'm on a no-fly list. I can't fly, and I had to go to this business conference. I feel like that's something that people would expect out of my mouth. Be
yeah.
my
I
mouth to
mean,
be the reason I was on a no-fly list, but
the nice
that
thing
is
is we stop and we go visit people. So actually, the other thing I try to do is I find I do better when I have some kind of an event on the horizon, like 3 to 6 months out to like look forward to. Because otherwise, it's easy to get lost into the I wake up, I work, I go to bed. I wake up, I work, I go to bed.
fun.
So at the end of April, I'm going out to Florida. I'm going to go meet up with Linda. We're going to a Pearl Jam concert. And we're going to set up and for the people in the area, see who else we can connect with
To
out
like
there.
try to do math of how old we are right now.
I
Please
know.
don't like.
Yeah, we're that old.
I'm in
You
denial.
when your music's on the airport bar, that was always my thing. Like when they're playing that,
Oh,
you're toast.
is
Yeah.
it? They're like yesterday's hits, or we're not even like the pop anymore. It's like the oh, it's so sad. I don't even want to. That's a whole other episode.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool though. Are you gonna? So are you driving, flying? Or,
Oh,
there's nothing
flying.
else aligned with that. You guys are just going to that.
Yeah, this one is just it's a fun trip to go do, and we're pretty soon I'm planning to post, and like Dan DeLong will be out there. We're gonna reach out to other people that live in the area and be like, guys, let's just get together and just have lunch or dinner. And
No.
the in real life meetings are so important whenever you can do it. It really helps solidify the relationships.
Absolutely. And when we're on the internet all day or stuck in our offices, in fact, I just had this conversation. So last week I sometimes I get called Kurt.
I get
And
called direct. I get it. Yep.
I'm direct, I'm blunt, and I don't usually, and I know when I am, I put a smiley face at the end of a sentence, so people are like, okay, she meant that nice. But when I'm like in a hurry, I'm like, da, 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 and I keep going, I don't think about it. And I am not saying it in a F you tone. I'm more of like a, hey, real quick. But that's not how they're reading it. And I don't know what's going on in their life. So last week I sent a message and it just got completely perceived and they took it extremely wrong. And it got so blown up out of proportion. And we met in person and we talked it through and we realized if we had sat down and talked like this before,
Yep.
they would have known Sharon doesn't mean it like that. And they also would have known I could have just picked up the phone and Sharon would have been like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. But they didn't know because we never sat down and had that call. But now we know, right? So it's so crazy how sometimes just that one-on-one communication of getting to know people is just so important, even though I love Slack.
One of the best lessons I learned in sales training, or however you want to say it, you can take a sentence like, I did not say he stole her purse. And depending on the way I say it and the way you hear it, it can have multiple different meanings. I did not say he stole her purse. The lady stole the purse. I didn't say he stole her purse. He stole her dog instead. And all these
Yeah.
different iterations based on tone, inflection, all of it can lead to miscommunication. So if we can all just do a better job of saying, I apologize. What I was trying to say is,
Yeah. Or I'm sorry, I think I misinterpreted or I
yeah,
took what you said incorrectly and I want to can we clarify it? And I'm sure there's a better way to say something like that, but I've learned and I'm, in my old age I'm learning ask more, assume less. Like don't assume, you don't know. ask. It was probably an accident. May have been a typo. They probably made to call you I don't know, or maybe they didn't mean to call me Kurt and that was a typo.
Well, so this goes back to the idea
It's not
of
sponsored, so I
success.
can make comments like that.
It goes back to the idea of success because for me, you're never going to please everybody. I don't care
No.
about that, right? We all have people that like us and others that maybe just we can be an acquired taste. But I do like to live my life smiling and happy and being kind to people. So it requires me to not think the worst of people's intentions all the time and to be willing to step back and be like, maybe this was perceived incorrectly. And that's not a weakness, that's a strength if you can actually try
Oh
to
yeah.
do it. Some people think you're being submissive. No, you're just trying to get to the point. Like, I'd rather
Yeah.
smile.
And you can't be in a professional services industry and not have some sort of connection to people. You need to
Yeah.
be able to have a level of understanding or empathy or reading the room of, hey, read this person's face. Whatever I said was not like yesterday on my plane ride home. We were on the way to Vegas where I live, and I sat down next to these two girls, and she said something about Vegas, and I said, "Well, I'm okay. I actually live there." And she goes, "Ew, that's unfortunate." I went, I sat there for a second, and I was like, "Okay, do I just fight her? What do I do here?" And I'm like, You know what? I hope you lose all your money in this city and remember me, and then the fact that you just paid my income tax because I don't have any. But I looked at her and go, not for me.
Oh,
I love living there. But I don't know. I still am thinking about that. I'm thinking, I think I handled it well because I went, I really enjoy living there. And then I wanted to like attack Arizona, and I thought, don't do it. Don't do it,
oh,
Sharon.
you should
Don't.
because of daylight savings time. Absolutely. I mean,
Well, the
like, I'm just
heat,
jealous.
and,
That's all, really.
but
But
then again,
that's
I'm
okay.
like, Vegas is heat. Anyhow, but I was just like, wow, now I have to sit on, I'm glad this flight's only an hour. So anyhow, it was just really crazy. But yeah, it really is not what you say, it's how you say it. It's definitely been my motto this week. I know it's a little bit different, but it does kind of tie into your why. Like everything you do, every trip I take, everything I do in life with my business revolves around my life. My life doesn't revolve around my business, right? I have to work. I have to.
Yeah.
I haven't won the lottery and I have a shopping problem. My husband has a ridiculous hat collection. There's not a hat, he has a lid store in our closet. So I have to keep working or he'll leave me for somebody else that'll buy him hats. So, but I work enough to do that, to
Yeah.
do what I'm gonna do. But that's my success, right? That's my
If
success.
you buying him hats makes you happy, you keep buying them hats. Okay. That's important.
Oh, I don't buy them. He buys them. It's that for forgiveness, not permission. I'm like, hey, can I have your credit card bill? I'm like, oh wow, look at you. Look at you. Good for you. I do work a little bit too much because my schedule now after I used to do Monday through Thursday and now I just do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But I told him, I said I'll be at my desk from like 10 to 5, but from
Yeah.
like I try to hold any other stuff from 5 to 8 and I'll be on my couch on the laptop with him and we can watch hockey and stuff. But it allows me to kind of be in the room with him and not be stuck in my office at my desk while still getting work done. So it makes it not so terrible because we're just going to sit on the couch and watch hockey anyway, so it's not that big a deal. But again, it works for me. But then I have 4 days off, and every week feels like a vacation now. And even though I'm working longer on those 3 days, like 10 to 12 hours,
I'd
I know
rather
that's
do that
crazy.
though. Yeah.
I love it. I'm so much happier. Stress is like almost gone because I get so much time to unwind and be refreshed.
I love that.
So, but it's a matter of aligning and it's a matter of setting up your tasks and setting your boundaries and adjusting your calendar and telling your clients, no, I'm sorry, I'm not available that day. I'm sorry, I'm not available. Like this is when I'm available if you want to work with me.
One of the nice things, I guess, a good thing and a bad thing that came out of the pandemic is the use of Zoom and it really forced me more towards becoming a cloud accountant, meaning I can actually work from anywhere that I want, right? One of the challenges though, we used to have an office space, got rid of it. So now I work out of my home office, which is in my California. It's expensive in California, folks, here in Ventura. So it's not a big place. But it doesn't get me out of the house as much as it once did. So
Yeah.
that's one area that I always struggle to try to keep that balance correct and try to at least once a week get out and do something with some friends instead of just being held up in one place all the time. So I wonder with your
Yeah.
listeners as well if they've experienced that also.
Yeah, you get the so I'm super outgoing and social, but like working from home makes you a recluse. So now I feel like I'm more social and outgoing on the internet, and then people are like, "Let's go out and do things." I'm like, "Ew,
Yeah.
no."
Hold on, let me get my phone. We can pretend. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I go to conferences. That's when I do things. On Friday, we go to our local bar and I play Keno. But I feel like I'm a lot of a homebody. I think that's a just as you get an older thing, but still. I would love to. I want to give. I mean, we've talked about a lot of stuff, and I don't know. Maybe people have got some from this, but I'd love to be able to like give them advice. So, what's one small but powerful exercise that business owners can do to align their work with their values? Like, what would you do? How
So
could
what
you
I,
tell?
it's really easy to have a lot of different ideas when you're trying to build a business, and especially if you're that visionary kind of person. I
Mhm.
started many years ago. I have a whiteboard in my old office. We had whiteboard walls. I keep one here, and I started to write out my mind map of the different things I wanted to accomplish. I will quite often have different projects. They seem like smaller projects that may seem sporadic, but what people don't realize is when you fold them in on each other, they are actually trajectory to get to something. And the reason I'm sharing this is I did that many years ago, waited a couple years, and then I looked at the thing, and all of a sudden I'm able to look and be like, oh, look at that. I did do that piece. I already got that done. I got this done. So the advice I would have for everybody is find a way. If for me, it's a whiteboard, something I can keep in front of me, I can look at here and there. I've got a section that is the reminder of the different project ideas I have or maybe started, so I can push things forward a little bit at a time and just recognize it's not going to happen overnight. Celebrate the little wins, keep pushing it
Yeah.
forward, and just, drive towards your goal.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So if somebody is listening and they maybe feel stuck or directionless, like what's the first step you think they should take to figure out what their end game would be?
I would truly say reach out to your community. It's been a big help for me. There have been multiple times where, we all have these ups and downs of businesses of, maybe you're killing it and then all of a sudden you lose a couple clients or you just get tired and you're not focused on it. That's when you need your community to reach out to and just have somebody to brainstorm with. Um, and then also continue your education. As much as you can, different ways. I just recently was listening to Simon Sinek's Start with Why.
Okay.
And it actually, the timing was perfect for me because I had a dip in business and I was thinking to myself, like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this stuff? And I just needed to be reminded of what my why was and that it
Yeah.
was still there. So keep learning as well. The best part about being a small business owner is the exponential learning curve. There's always something new to learn and that can empower you to grow and go further.
I feel like that's great advice. I feel like as a business owner, you're probably in general, you're probably an outgoing person. So I feel like when you've accomplished one thing or finished it, like we get bored. You want to do
Oh,
something
yeah.
else.
Yeah.
And then you'll like, I don't know about you, but I'll have clients sometimes. I'm like, what are you doing? You're doing this and this and this. Oh, hold on one sec. I love the fact you have so many ideas, but let's tone them in. Let's figure it out so you can be successful. You can be successful at all of them. You just have to understand why you're doing each of them, where you're trying to get, and what happens if they grow. Like you kind of have to know those things, or otherwise, I feel like you end up just struggling, right? And then you feel like you're a failure when really you're not. It's just a few tweaks here and there.
Yeah. So I've always done this certain thing. Like if I'm looking at doing a collaboration with somebody, I'll look at, okay, if I do this, what's the worst can happen that's going to happen? And let's say it falls apart. What's the minimum I'm going to gain? Either knowledge out of it, something. What's the minimum? And if I'm willing to accept that, then this could be a good potential collaboration. But if there's no upside, that helps me really kind of weed out what I want to do, or the different things I can potentially do to make sure I'm staying focused on the long run. So that may be another thing, is just pay attention to, if it fails, what's the win you still got out of that failure?
Ah, and is it really a fail, or did you just learn the way to not do it and now do it again, not that way? That wasn't the way, right? Like, is it really, I try to tell people it's not really a failure. It's a, hey, I learned. That's how you don't do
Yeah,
it.
I agree. You only fail when you give up. That's the only time
Yeah,
you fail.
exactly. Love that. You only feel when you get up. Matt, I love that. That's a actually amazing thing to end this on. Do you have anything else to add before we close up and let everybody get back to their wonderful lives?
No, I appreciate the time here, and thank you for those who looking to reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook under, basically my social tag on everything is Spoticus, Spotycus. Reach out anytime if I can be of assistance.
So do we yell, "This is
I am
Spada"?
Spoticus. Yes.
Awesome. So that's a wrap for today's episode. And a huge thank you, of course, to Matt for sharing your insights on defining your why and making sure that your business actually aligns with your goals. He just let you know how to get a hold of him. If for some reason you can't stop and rewind and hear it, you can always reach out to me and I'll share all of his information with you. He's also all over all the social media for this, so you can absolutely get a hold of him. Also, if you follow me on Facebook or anything, we are always chatting with each other, so he is there. But before we sign off, mark your calendars for next month's episode, and I'll be chatting with Kelly Gonzalez, and we'll be talking about how imposter syndrome is a liar. So we really want to break down the mental traps that make you doubt yourself and how to shut them down for good. So you don't want to miss it. Kind of ties into this. And don't forget, I've got a killer handout to help you put today's discussion into action. So you're going to grab this handout. It will be in the link here. We'll have it available to you. It's really, it is a defining your why. It's kind of a brainstorming sheet. It really kind of helps you kind of put all that together. So make sure that you download that. And remember, sometimes you have to scale down to scale up, and success isn't about working harder. It is about working smarter. And I'll see you next time.